Hello, I'm Ellen Saltonstall, and I'm going to show you a restorative yoga sequence that's really nice. One of my favorites. It's a good way to elongate your spine, releasing tension there, to give a little stretch to your internal organs, and to calm your mind. It's a really good way to end your practice, your yoga practice of more vigorous poses, or just to do any time during the day or right before you go to bed. So for this pose, we could use 2 bolsters, but since many people don't have 2 bolsters, I'm going to show it with 2 blocks, a blanket, and then the bolster on top. So first you arrange the 2 blocks side by side like this, towards the foot end of your mat just a bit. Then you put the blanket over the blocks, and then you bring the bolster in and put it at a right angle so that it's like a seesaw. It can tip either direction. And then you're going to arrange yourself first at the bottom end, the foot end, with your pelvis, and then gradually you're going to move upward. So make sure you have enough sticky mat up at the head end of your mat so that when you get to that last position, you're still on the sticky mat for comfort. So then you come onto the bottom of the bolster. Your feet are flat on the floor, and you drape yourself back over the bolster with your hips staying low, but not touching the floor. They're on the lower end of the bolster, so it's kind of like a reclining chair. Your hips are slightly off and they're hanging towards the floor but not touching the floor. And in this position you can really relax and receive the support of the bolster. It creates a very slight arch which gently stretches your spine and your organs. So we'll spend a couple of minutes breathing in this position and just feel the effects in your body. Perhaps you feel more opening in your pelvic floor and your lower belly. And then to go into the second position, you just push a little bit with your feet so that the bolster begins to tip and the seesaw is now balanced in the middle, where your shoulders and your hips are the same height and your head is draping back over the top of the bolster. Arms are to the side with the palms facing up. So this again is a slight arch of the back, and you might feel the sensations mostly now in the middle of your torso. The upper belly, diaphragm, and your middle back. And of course, any of these positions can be a pose in itself. So you can pick your favorite one and just practice that one, or you can do the full sequence of 5. So this is number 2, and now we're going to move to number 3. So you just push a little bit until your head lightly touches the floor, and now your pelvis is the highest part on the seesaw. Your shoulders are not touching, but your head is touching lightly. So this begins to be an inversion. Your upper back is hanging from the support of the bolster, giving some new length to the top of the spine, and maybe giving a little stretch in your shoulders and your ribs. And this is a particularly good position in which to focus on your breath, because your lungs are well supported and you're inviting them to expand. So feel a nice, easeful, full breath. For those of you who don't practice inverted poses, this is a really good way to get a sense of what it feels like being upside down with really good support. And now you're going to move into a version of the bridge pose, Setu Bandha. So if you keep coming down off the bolster, now your shoulders and your head come to the floor, and your hips are still supported on the seesaw. Your chin is coming towards your chest. So this is a very calming position for the mind, with the neck coming down towards your chest like this. It's a pose and a practice that we call Jalandhara Bandha, which is a lock in the prana system that is very, very quieting to the mind. And then the fifth position is Shavasana. So you just come a little further off until you can move the bolster to be parallel to the two blocks and let your knees rest over that. So this is probably a familiar position for Shavasana for many of you. The knees are raised up, which is a good easeful position for your lower back. If you like more support under your head and neck, you can put a towel or a blanket there. Your palms are facing upward, and you just relax and breathe easefully. In restorative yoga, we recognize the power of the prana, the life force in the body. As it has more space and we can breathe more fully, we recognize how the prana can really help us feel complete and at peace and able to go on with whatever we are going to do in the day or to sleep well at night. So as you breathe now, focus on elongating your exhalation. Just let it be a little bit longer, very naturally. And then allow a slight pause at the bottom of your exhalation. So when you fully let go of all the breath, you just wait for a second or two before you breathe in again. Elongating the exhalation and allowing that slight pause at the end is a really good way to settle your nervous system, to become more at rest. And you can recognize that restful state in both your mind and your body. And now bend your knees and roll to the side. Stay on your side for a couple of breaths. And then come up to sitting. And pause with your eyes closed to feel your breath and your state of mind and your body and the connectedness of all those three, the mind, the body, and the breath. And then gently open your eyes. Thank you for joining me.